In this video, we'll be going over the Locate Me standard text field type. This field type will show a little icon in the right hand corner, as you can see right here, to help locate the user based on their current location. This will require that the user accepts and allows them to actually view for your website to get their location to be able to trigger this. The way this works, as we previously discussed in some of the type configuration videos, you'll see if we come over here to this type config, you'll see we have a few different settings that we first need to configure. So after setting up the field, you'll need to come in here, you'll need to make sure and enter in a Google API key, which you can get from this link here. Make sure that you set this because this will be a client-side API key. So I don't recommend using the one that you use for WP Job Manager settings. I recommend creating another one and then entering it in this field right here. Below that, you'll have it where you can see the result types. So as you can see here, I have numerous ones selected. What this means is that whenever we make a query to Google Maps to actually query the location, you can specify what types you want Google to return. These are all the different types, and there are very numerous amounts of ones. I recommend that you just leave this empty because you may not need to very much narrow it down, and that's really what you can use this type preference for right here. This just basically means whenever an API call is made to Google saying, hey, give me what you believe is this location based on this user, it will return all of these, and then using the type preference, you can narrow it down by that. And the way this works is because Google Maps, whenever they actually try to query this based on this person's geo coordinates, they will actually give you what they consider, quote unquote, the best match. So the best match is going to be based on all of the result types. So if the type preference will say here state, if Google's unable to match the state right here, it will give us whatever they believe is the best match. So best match is going to be based off of any of these values here. So if you only wanted at a maximum to be specific ones like state, country, city, town, you only ever wanted it to be any of those three values, that's where you would set the result type. And then again, as mentioned, the type preference, this is what you will set. This is basically saying that regardless of what Google thinks is the best match, I want this value to be the preferred value to actually show in the text box itself. And this is where you can just select one of these ones on here. Normally this will be something like state or city, town, locality. It really depends on where you're actually setting all this up with. Then the next one you have here is the language. Language requires a specific Google Maps language codes. So make sure you go to this link and make sure you pick the correct language code if you want to use a different language in here. You may not need to, but that's totally up to you. The next option here is the Latitude, Longitude fallback. This is handled so that if for some reason you don't have an API key entered in here, Google is rate limiting you, for some reason if the plugin is unable to make the query to Google Maps to actually geolocate the user, what this will do is this will actually output the latitude and longitude value in this actual field value right here. So let's go ahead and I've already got this set up. Let's go ahead and save this and let's go ahead and give it a try. So I click on this button right here and you'll notice it's kind of spinning. I've already accepted the value to allow this to see it. And now as you'll see, I'm in Orlando, Florida, so now it's outputting Florida, USA. And reason being is because if you look under here, we have this set to state. So let's go ahead and change this. Let's say that I want this to be city, town. So I'll go ahead and save that. And then we'll go ahead and trigger the location again. There we go. See, now it shows Orlando, Florida, because that's what I had configured it as. Now let's go ahead and let's just remove this, and let's just show you how it works with the latitude, longitude fallback. So now we come in here, this gets triggered, and because we can't connect to Google because the API key is wrong, it will actually output the latitude and longitude of that specific user. This will still allow it to show up here and actually still do the geolocation, which then if you have a radius on here, it will actually work for the radius as well.